Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Vani Sathya. This is my business partner, Dr. Ravi Venkatraman.
Good afternoon.
And our product is ASCConnect. A little bit about myself. I'm an epidemiologist by training, and I have over 15 years of experience in health informatics, public health data systems, and in interoperability. So what is ASCConnect? ASCConnect is a productivity application for surgery centers. Basically, ASCConnect will enhance and streamline communications, and it connects the patient, the physicians, and the surgery center to improve the productivity at surgery centers and improve patient care. The product is offered as a SaaS model. It is actually already in use at our pilot ASC, and it is currently revenue generating. Our product offers a unique solution to improve workflow at surgery centers. What sets us apart from our competition? It is the integrated modules for both surgery orders and for preoperative medical history for patients that makes ASCConnect unique. Also, it is the clinical business rules, the clinical decision support rules that allow for patients to be stratified by risk by the physicians. So all of these are unique to ASCConnect. In addition to Ravi and myself, we're supported by a strong team of subject matter experts and industry experts as part of consultants and advisors to our company. And now I'll let Ravi talk further about our product.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Ravi Venkatraman. I'm a student here at the Milken School of Public Health doing an executive master's in health administration under the tutelage of Dr. Friedman. In another avatar, I'm also an anesthesiologist. I'm a pain management specialist for over 30 years. I'm also an owner at Same Day Procedures, which is a surgery center, freestanding surgery center in Clifton, New Jersey. Over the last 30 years, I've been doing procedures at hospitals and at surgical center settings. Surgical centers have evolved as lean models of healthcare delivery, but unfortunately, they're still plagued with inefficiencies. While there have been tremendous advances in medical techniques over the years, it may surprise you to know that the process of scheduling patients at surgery centers for surgery are still very antiquated and archaic. Most surgery centers still use fax machines to convey surgical orders from the physician's offices to the surgery center. Each surgical order consists anywhere between 10 to 20 pages. Like that cartoon above, quality of fax transmissions can indeed be terrible and poor quality. Disclaimer, it's not my rash that they're talking about. I don't have a rash. And even if I did have one, I wouldn't want it diagnosed this way. If you look at the amount of fax pages coming into a surgery center doing even 10 to 12 procedures a day, you can recognize that fax machines very rapidly become the bottlenecks for data transmissions. Faxes are incomplete, fax documents are lost, and then, of course, there's the whole concept of interoperability. Absolutely no connections with any clinical systems. This is not the best way to transmit clinical data. It is time for a change. What then is the solution? Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to offer ASCConnect, which is a cloud-based solution which links the patient, the surgery center, and the physician's offices in a seamless cloud-based platform to allow for data transfer from the patient through to ensure quality data being available at the point of care. It is a secure, HIPAA-compliant platform with appropriate technical safeguards built in order to ensure that all the data is available at the point of care. Now, data flow aside, let's just look at the business side of things. All of us are sitting here wondering, what is the dollars and cents consequence of what we're trying to achieve? In our pilot ASC, where ASCConnect has been implemented, we found that just by implementing ASCConnect, we've been able to save over 6.5 hours per day between administrative and nursing time. Let's take the financial implications of that for a moment. You add just two procedures a day into that free time, and you can project annually the ability to generate anywhere between $500,000 to well over $1 million just by implementing ASCConnect. At our pilot surgery center, we have found that volume from 2015, where we did about 1,500 procedures, went up to over 2,800 procedures in 2016, largely because of improvements in workflow, secondary to ASCConnect being deployed.
So as Ravi mentioned, our customers are surgery centers. So we're targeting the about 5,400 ambulatory surgery centers that are freestanding surgery centers and the over 5,500 hospital-based outpatient surgery centers. So this is a SaaS model, and it's a $750 per month subscription fee with a one-time implementation and training fee of $2,000. So taken together, this really translates to a potential revenue of over $120 million, with 80% of that revenue being recurrent annual income. So who are we going to start with? Basically, we're going to begin our efforts in targeting the freestanding ambulatory surgery centers. We find that their processes to get a contract in place are less bureaucratic and time-consuming than the hospital-based outpatient centers. So we would be targeting them to begin with. We'd begin in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic regions where we can leverage our existing connections and relationships with other surgery centers, other physicians, to get demos and to be able to move forward with our sales and marketing. And then towards the end of 2018, we would look to expand our sales and marketing efforts to the western and southern regions of the United States. We will be targeting a large ASC consortia to try to jumpstart our sales. And we would also, of course, actively participate in ASC industry conferences, medical specialty conferences, and work with our known contacts in the ASC consulting space, which, they advise and also help set up all of these ambulatory surgery centers. We estimate the average expected customer retention will be about 3 years. And this is sort of conservative based on what we know of the healthcare industry and health informatics. And then we would also have an expected lifetime value of over $20,000 for each customer. This is including a 5% churn. So part of what contributes to our desirable LTV to CAC ratio is that the product is actually ready to go. Development and testing are complete for our base product, and we've invested our own money to get it this far. So that would be able to jumpstart the sales as we predicted. Some of our financial projections, if we're able to meet our sales goals, the financial projections here demonstrate that we would break even between quarters 3 and 4 of 2018. Now, I will just mention that we're currently in talks with a large ASC consortium. They own over 200 ambulatory surgery centers. And if we are able to materialize, actually get this contract in place, then we'd be able to really jumpstart our sales, and we'd be able to grow even faster. We're asking for $250,000 for our initial investment, and we would use this really to jumpstart our sales for sales and marketing. So it would help defray the cost of hiring salespeople and support staff, help with marketing and advertising, and we would utilize all of that money for that and not really take any kind of salaries as management at this point until we reach certain sales. So where do we see ourselves going in the future as a company. So although everything I've discussed so far is really related to our base product and launching our base product, we do have great ideas for how to move forward in this space. So some of the things that we've come up with are telemedicine modules. This is for preoperative and postoperative interaction with patients, an inventory management module, and also patient scheduling module. These are just some of the ideas that we have and that we would like to implement going forward. Now, we have our finger squarely on the pulse in the ASC industry, and I can tell you that these are things that would really add benefit and value for surgery centers. This would also be potential additional revenue streams for our company. To wrap up, I just wanted to take a second and say thank you to our great consultants and advisors. Their inputs have been really invaluable, and I don't think he's here right now, but our GW mentor, Bob Smith, has been fabulous as well, so we'd like to thank him. And I'd like to, on behalf of Ravi and myself, thank you for your time, and we're happy to try to answer any questions.
Can you talk a bit, since you had the product roadmap, about your development team and what kind of cycle time it has in developing the product, features, et cetera? Because you've got a very tight rollout in the product roadmap.
Right. So our team is very experienced. They have over 20 years of experience each, are leads for developing, in software development, specifically in health information technology. So I would say that those are really based on the fact that a lot of requirements for a lot of these modules have already sort of come into play and have been documented to some extent. So it's a matter of really getting the coding done and executed. So although I agree the timelines are tight, we've sort of had these ideas for a while, and they've really come up with ways that they can quickly turn around.
Using an agile methodology.
It is an agile methodology. We don't do it with a waterfall SDLC. So, yeah.
Just speaking, again, I've only been to one ASC, I think, in my entire life. And as soon as I went there, they drugged me, so I don't really know what.
That's what we do for a living.
Yeah, but just try to understand the process. So in other words, currently, physician sends all of the orders through fax. The ASC receives it and uses that to sort of decide the procedure as they're setting it up. Today, and then if you have ASC, the orders will be transmitted through electronically. But at the end of the ASC, at the surgical center, they will still need to print them out, I'm assuming. Is that how it would work?
No. So the application ensures that any and all data that is relevant for processing patient care is now available in a coherent, legible manner with any and all data being available. That data can be brought in directly into the EMR of the surgery center. It can be used directly for pre-certification and pre-verification purposes. It can also, as we talked about, moving forward, be channeled through, let's say, the vendors to, if you need a specific piece of equipment for surgery, the moment the surgery center receives that order, order goes through to the vendor saying, all right, this gentleman needs one particular prosthesis manufactured from this manufacturer. It'll go through to the anesthesiologist saying that, okay, this particular patient is scheduled for this day. So that's where the clinical care integration comes in. And the whole thing becomes seamless because data is then shared in a secure fashion at various components.
So currently today, who is receiving the fax, let's say the administrator, has to sort of go through it and then manually sort of A, B, C, D, all of the steps you said.
Absolutely. Okay. And let me tell you what happened. We had our internet down for a day or two. I think this was about 2 weeks ago. And my front-end staff were up in arms against me as to why did this application fail.
So one of the things I just wanted to address your question slightly in a technical way. It's been designed in a responsive design. So basically, it can be the application can be viewed, the data can be viewed based on any kind of screen. So whatever the user is using to look at the data, it can be used in that manner. And also, we do have the capability for HL7 interfaces with different systems. So.
It seems to me that the trend is for a lot of these ambulatory surgery centers to be connected to hospital networks more and more. Like we have a network in this area called MedStar that's got over 300 locations in the Baltimore, Washington area. And they're all connected already to the hospitals, to thousands of doctors who are on that same network. So that's already automated, and they're not using faxes. Everything's electronic between these 300 locations. If that trend continues, would your market shrink, or would the standalone centers continue to grow?
I think standalone centers have established themselves as a business model per se. Hospitals are realizing that ambulatory surgery centers are profitable adjuncts to their financial bottom line, which is why they're going ahead with setting up ambulatory surgery centers. Be that as it may, this component of freestanding ambulatory surgery centers will continue to exist, primarily because it is cost effective, produces good quality of care, and very high standards of patient satisfaction. And being an owner, I make sure that my patients are very satisfied with the quality of care.
So you have no incentive to join up with one of these big systems where they funnel patients to you rather than being a standalone the way you are now? There's no advantage to
There
join.
is no advantage.
Okay.
There is no advantage.
Okay.
Where is your, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Where is your first, you said you have a prototype running
In New
somewhere.
Jersey.
We have a freestanding ambulatory surgery center in Clifton, New Jersey.
That's your own?
That is our
So the
own.
prototype is happening at a?
Yes.
Okay. When is the first customer you said coming online?
Right now, this is revenue generating at this surgical center. We are presently in active discussions with this huge ASC consortium. We have about 3 or 4 other surgery centers in this neck of the woods, which we have reached out to and demonstrated this model.
So I would just suggest that given where you guys are, which happens to be, I think, farther along than most of the other companies we saw, I'm not sure that 250,000 at this stage would be enough, given your kind of uses of funds that you pointed out, to justify, what you want to do. Hiring a salesperson or 2 is going to take pretty much all of that 250,000. So I would suggest that you would look at, say, is that source of funds enough for the uses that you want to do to get it to the next stage, which would get you a much bigger investment into the company?
Thank you.
Valid point. If more funds are available, certainly it will change the business, the financial model that we are projecting. But again, the application is ready, proven, revenue generating, and has been shown to have positive metrics on the bottom line for the surgery center. And that alone is what has got us to moving to this stage.
Could you dive into that a little bit more? You say you almost doubled the amount of surgeries in a year because of this. How does the software system do that?
So if you have to analyze the workflow of patients through the surgery center, with our EMR, we were able to track time from when the patient registered into the facility to time that the patient went into the operating room. We just looked at that metric. Now, what happens during that period? The patient gets registered. Patients then go into the preoperative area where the nurse sits and spends a lot of time getting the history, documenting the history. And then the surgeon and the anesthesiologist come and take the consent. So we found a lot of time was spent in the preoperative area. There are established metrics. For instance, a patient who's having a shoulder scope spends about 123 minutes in the pre-op area. The patient who's having a knee scope or even a pain management procedure spends about 45 to 60 minutes. Most of this time is used in collecting clinical data from the patient. Now,
Time's up. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's all gathering.
thank you. Thank you.